Welcome to TNT. My name is Adam, and today we're in section 2.4 of our Grace in Action book. We're talking about the idea that the Bible teaches us about history. Grab your book, because we're going to need it today. As you noticed in your Start Here section, you were to study about a missionary and draw the flag from that country. I hope you did that. If not, I want you to pause this video, make sure that you go grab your book and do that section, because what we're getting ready to do is not going to make any sense unless you did that Start Here section. So pause the video if you haven't done that right now. For those that have done it, I want you to think about the missionary that you studied, the country that you studied. I want us to answer these following questions from our Start Zone section. Number one, how did learning about those missionaries encourage you? How did that encourage you? Did that give you excitement about that country and about that missionary? How did that uplift your spirit? How did that encourage you? Secondly, what did you learn about missions from studying these people? What did you learn about missions from studying these people? And lastly, how do missionaries spread the good news to others? You know, we're going to talk about history today, but missionaries tell the good news of Jesus Christ even when it's hard. Many missionaries in the past have demonstrated courage to overcome difficult situations with a good attitude. And you know, when I was thinking about the missionaries that I know, and I started thinking about modern day missionaries. And modern day missionaries are like people from the Bible. They often kept going and never giving up hope. They choose to follow God and to serve Him faithfully. You know, the Bible is full of men and women who faced hardships and trials as well. Yet they continued to have faith that God would get them through. So I want to look at some truths that the Bible tells us that we can see how it talks about history. First, we see that the people in the Bible really lived. The people in the Bible really lived. Look at this. It says, God's word is always true. And the people mentioned in the Bible really lived. Their stories really did happen. We find that in Proverbs 35, that it says what we need, and it shows us that these people really lived. You know, we talked a few weeks ago just about how the Bible is true without error, how we need to study it carefully, and we talked about how there's been architecture or archaeologists who have dug up architecture of buildings that they've talked about. They've found anchors from different stories. They found things in the Bible, and they found them in real life. And the people in the Bible, they're real too. They found certain tombs. They found certain people's houses. And we know that that is true and that they really lived. Secondly, we see that the stories of people in the Bible encourage us. I know for me, when I read the Bible, it encourages me. But let's look at this slide. It says the individuals in the Bible were not super smart or strong. They chose to have faith in God. Studying their stories encourages us and offers us hope. Romans 15:4, and we're going to come back to that. So yeah, the people in the Bible, they encourage us. The stories in the Bible encourage us because, like it says, they weren't super special people. They weren't totally excited people. It's people just like you and people just like me who lived out their faith and continued to study their word and continued to grow in their faith. Man, the people encourage me when I read stories in the Bible. I hope they encourage you. I hope you study them carefully. But thirdly, studying the people in the Bible can strengthen our faith. Not only is it encouraging to our faith, but it can strengthen our faith. It can make it stronger. Let's look at this. It says the same God who helped the people in the Bible is the same God who loves us and promises to always be with us. Our faith grows stronger as we read and believe in His Word. Romans 10:17. So man, the people in the Bible can strengthen our faith. they show us what God can do if we just put our hope and our trust in Him. If we can follow Jesus, the people in the Bible show us, we look at the history of that and we see that we are just like them and that we can be just like them in our walk with Christ if we strengthen our faith in God. But what I want to do is look a little bit into details about our memory verse this week. So, as you know, your memory verse this week was Romans 15:4. Let's read this together. For everything that was written in the past was written to teach us, so that through endurance and the encouragement of the Scriptures, we might have hope. Man, I love this verse. I mean, for everything that was written in the past. Once again, we talk about the Bible wasn't, it was true and without error. So everything that was written in the past was written to teach us. So that through endurance, what is endurance? Let's think about that word endurance. Endurance is the ability to understand hardships or adversity, even under a lot of pressure. You know, we think about maybe a runner running a marathon. Man, they have to have endurance. They have to be, oh, my body hurts. My body wants to stop. I don't want to do this anymore. But they keep doing it. They have the endurance. So it says, for everything was written in the past was written to teach us, so that through endurance, through the times that may be hard in our life, through history, that, man, I'm going to keep going. And it's to the encouragement of the Scriptures that we might have hope. I want to talk about that word hope. What is hope? Hope is simply this. It's trusting God's Word. That perfect Word that was written for us. It's trusting God's Word that God has promised what He has promised that He will do. That's what hope is. It's saying, hey, I'm trusting that God's Word, that what He promises, that it's going to come true. That helps us with the endurance. That helps us be able to go, I think I can do it because I'm going to have the endurance here. So let's look at this one more time. Now that we understand some of those words, Romans 15:4. For everything that was written in the past was written to teach us, so that through endurance and the encouragement of the Scriptures, we might have hope. I hope this passage encourages you. I hope that it shows you that we can trust God's Word. So let's review with a few questions to wrap up. Number one, how are the people in the Bible like us? How are the people in the Bible like you and me? How can reading about the faith of people in the Bible help us in our faith? And lastly, as your faith in God grows, how will this help you when you're going through a hard time? Well, I want you to think about those, but I want to recap this and answer some of these questions. Number one, faith means trusting in God's Word, even if the circumstances are hard. Even if life is hard. You know, I know this coronavirus thing is really tough right now on all of us. It's kind of crazy right now. And so it's hard. We're not able to go hang out with our friends like we want to. We're not able to go to school maybe like we want to. We're not able to go to church like we want to. It's hard. So faith means trusting in God's Word even if the circumstances are hard. Also, the stories of people in the Bible teach us, encourage us, and offer us hope when we study them and apply the lessons to our lives. I want you to look at this right here on the screen with me again. It's to encourage us, teach us, encourage us, offer us hope when we study them. But here's the key, and to apply those lessons to our lives. I hope you're not just doing your Awana verses and doing your Awana lessons and just putting it on the shelf. I hope that you're applying these lessons to your life. You're applying these scriptures to your life because they will help when life is hard. Apply these lessons. That's my challenge to you. Get in your Word. Get in the Bible, read the Bible, and apply the Bible. If you're not sure what that means, ask your pastor, ask your parents, ask someone you trust, ask your Awana leader. You know, we know that the Bible is true and without errors, but we also know that the Bible teaches us about history by looking at the people and knowing that we can be just like them. I can't wait to see you guys next week. We'll be doing 2.5 next week. We'll see you then.